Welcome to the Real Story of Autoimmune Disease Summit, version 2.0, and discover the impact your emotions have on your healing. I'm your host, Roberta Tachi, and today is a pleasure to have here with me Sharon Katzke. Sharon Katzke is a certified light therapist and an equine red light therapist with a bachelor degree in industrial engineering. She has over 20 years of experience in the light therapy industry and has dedicated her life to advancing the understanding and therapy opportunities of photobiomodulation. Sharon's love of horses began as a child, and she founded the AA Light in 2012 after seeing the tremendous benefit of red light therapy on her horse Sport. She made it her mission to engineer affordable, easier to use, and more effective light therapy device for everyone, from horse owners to veterinarians to pet owners and people. The Visum Light is Sharon's latest creation, an all-in-one therapy tool that offers a range of benefits for pain relief, antiseptic, ice therapy, and rebalancing. It is affordable, multifunctional, and user-friendly, making a valuable addition to any stable, barn, and home. Hello, Sharon. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Roberta. It's my pleasure to be here. I really appreciate the opportunity to share all of this with everybody that you know, too.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm very curious. So, first, tell us a little bit about your story and how did you come about creating the Visum Light?
Like you mentioned, I've had a love of horses my entire life. And so in the late 90s, which is quite a while ago now, I was involved in a natural horsemanship program. And through that, I was watching a demonstration of a vet from Australia working on a horse with a red light. And that horse was reacting to this. And I thought, wow, that's fascinating. I was very much a believer of the person that I was following. And if they said I needed one of them, I'm getting me one of those. So I got it and I put it right on my wrist where they told me to put it. And I went, well, that is the dumbest thing I've ever spent my money on. I mean, I really thought, what? I didn't understand it. I didn't know what it was supposed to do. I thought, if you don't feel it, it can't possibly work. So over the course of 2 years, it took me to pick at it and read the manual and look through the stuff. And I had it on my coffee table. And every time I got it out and I turned the light on, my cat would show up.
Mm.
And I was like,
Animals are very sensitive, much more
I'm
than
like, how do you
us.
know this is on? There was no noise. They
Mm.
could pick up that frequency through the house. That's how sensitive they are. There was a click when I shut it off, but not when it turned on. So I'd offer it to the cat. She'd rub all over it and do her thing, and then she would leave. And I thought, animals can't lie, you know? So one of these days, I'm going to take it with me to where my horse was boarded because I didn't have him at my property at the time. And that took probably another 6 months because it just never happened. And the day that I did, it changed my life forever. I took that light, I put it at the base of his wither, which I learned was bladder 13. His head dropped, his tail lifted, his whole body shook. He turned around and he looked at me and I went,
What happened here?
what is going on? You can feel this? And so I started working on horses, and every horse comes with a person. And they'd be standing there holding the horse and they'd be watching me do the thing and they'd be like, do that for me. And I'm like, no way. Doesn't work on people. How can it work on people if you can't feel it? And they're like, no, really, my elbow hurts. Just do it. And so I'd work on their elbow for a couple minutes and they'd go, wow. And I'd go, really? And so that started my journey in the late 90s to where I am today. You couldn't knock me off my chair today if you wanted to. I have seen so much. I know so much. The research is there. But 20 some years ago, I didn't know anything. And so I thank the feedback that I got from other people for keeping my belief system. I love skeptics. Bring me a skeptic any day. I can talk to a skeptic any day. I was a believer who lost their belief and
Wow.
I came back to where I'm at today. That's how powerful this is, and that's how effective it is.
Oh, please. I wanted to share with us all of this because I'm sure this is quite new for me, and I believe it's quite new for many, many people and the audience with autoimmune disease. And I think it would be great for them to be able to understand more. So let's go first into the question of what is Visum light?
The Visum light is
Show
my
it for us. That's good.
that I developed after the all lights, which are a great tool. These are intended to be out in the barn. You know, this replaced that one that I watched on that video. They are incredibly durable. I have a red one, then I have a blue one, then I got a green one, and then I wanted an infrared with red in it, and I wanted it to pulse. So now I have a handful of lights. And I have doctors that use these, and they asked me if I would consider putting them into one light.
Mm,
And so I'm like, well, I can probably look at that, but I didn't want to stop with just adding colors. This light offers patterns that you can pick for, you know, your pain or your anxiety. And we have selected frequencies that go through that, so you don't have to learn about the frequencies. Or you can go straight to those GA frequencies and pick which one you want. Like, say you're opening your lymph and you want to work with the frequency D. This light offers all of that. And it also offers the ability to have, like, if we turn on the red,
I can
you
see
can
the red.
actually then at the same time, I'm not sure how to best show this, add blue,
Mm-hmm.
add green.
Yeah, it does show like the red. I'm gonna shut up, otherwise it shows my screen. I want to see your screen.
Gotcha. So you have the ability to change the colors and combine colors. And we're going to talk about what that means here as we go through the presentation. But this light has a lot of features. It's very intuitive. It's patent pending because there's nothing like this out there that combines the color and the sound with the patterns that we have available for you. But I personally feel that pictures are worth 1,000 words. So I put together a couple of slides, and if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to share those.
Oh, definitely. Yes. I think it's going to be also better for us to understand me and the audience. Thank you. I think you can share a screen. I'm curious. I also want to learn more about it.
Well, I want to thank you very much again for allowing me this opportunity. My name is Sharon, and I'm going to try and keep this as short as possible. And for those of you that stick with us, we actually have a little gift for you at the end. So I want to share that with you. Now, I'm speaking to the choir here because all of you know that autoimmune disease occurs when the body's immune system attacks and destroys the healthy cells, right? And you also know that an autoimmune disease are often chronic and can be really difficult to manage. So when the body is in a constant state of stress, it becomes very susceptible to autoimmune disease. And look at the ones that we have here: Hashimoto's, joint pain, maybe as we read some of these, you can relate. The Crohn's disease, multiple sclerosis, fatigue. A lot of us just think we're tired. We've got abdominal disease and issues. We've got rheumatoid arthritis. We've got type 1 diabetes. We've got skin issues. We've got lupus. All of these things are a sign that our immune system is out of whack. So let me ask you, let me see if I can make this go. You,
It did not move
it
the
didn't move my screen.
slide.
There it goes, finally. Okay.
Yes. Okay, good.
Well, maybe you can edit a little bit of that out. Okay. So my question for you is, does your autoimmune disorder keep you from doing activities like this? Perhaps you like to play with the grandkids. We are having, I think because we're sharing this, it's not working.
I
Mm.
think normally it works like this. If you put into play and instead of the cursor, if you use, I think, the screen, the keyboard with the arrow going forward, that's how I use when I share slides with my classes.
Yeah, this is a video, and I'm not getting it to, oh, there. So perhaps you play with your grandchildren, or you've been active in sports and you can't do that right now. Or maybe you have a hobby that you're not able to do because you've got your hands hurt. Or I live in Idaho and fly fishing is huge here. So fly fishing requires, the wrist to move and you to have some stamina. So not being able to do those things can really be frustrating. Does your chronic pain control your life? And do you often feel like this? I mean, do you get the brain fog? Do you have the rheumatoid arthritis, the stomach issues and disorders? Maybe it's your thyroid. Maybe it's movement, and any movement hurts. You're ready to actually throw the card up and ask for some help. Well, because I'm sure that you, like the rest of us, would rather have a life that looks like this. Just looking at these images makes me feel better. I think about being outside in the sun and embracing that, and having a brain that's got some power behind it and working functionally right. Or, you're out there and you're performing like you should, or you're just enjoying the peace and quiet and the relaxation. It probably sounds like a silly question, but just take a minute and look at these and go, I would like that. I would like that. So perhaps you're looking for, a safe alternative. Maybe you've had it with mainstream and you're not getting there. You're looking for something that can help you with your lymphatic drainage, help you with your chronic pain, give you better athletic performance, release that muscle tension. Maybe just health and wellness is your goal. And that's a great goal. We all should be having that goal. Or comprehensive healing. That might be a new term for you, and we're going to come back to that in a little bit, what that actually means. But I'm sure you're looking for the safe alternative that gets you your results, and it's also drug-free. Well, guess what? The answer to that is photobiomodulation. So that's a big word. It's a hard word for a lot of people to say, so we shorten it up and we call it PBM. But let's talk about what it means. For many years, people have heard the term low-level laser therapy, low-level light therapy, and it's always been acronymed as LLLT. Well, that was confusing because it could have been either of those. And so the industry stepped back a few years ago, and our leaders have gotten together and have said, let's use a term that more accurately reflects what's going on. So photo is light, bio is our cells in our body, and modulation is the interaction between the light and the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of our cells. So PBM, is the application of these specific wavelengths of light on our body. And traditionally that's been red, blue, green, red, blue, infrared. More recently, green and even amber are starting to be researched. So the FDA has allowed us to tell you that PBM offers a cellular reaction that lowers pain, reduces inflammation, improves your lymphatic drainage, increases circulation, and stimulates cellular repair. Now think about this for a minute. If you could do those things for yourself, what condition can it not help? Wouldn't it really benefit just about every condition that we have just by those particular things? Well, we mentioned a minute ago about the colors. Okay, so red has been very well known, very well studied. That's what I started with in the 90s. And then we started looking at infrared, which is not a visible light to the eye, but it penetrates way deeper. And so that impacts the water in our body, where the red impacts the blood in our body. So they offer different applications. And then we use blue, we use green, and we use polychromatic colors. Now, I want to introduce you our concept of what polychromatic colors means. To me, polychromatic color means that you have two colors that you're applying to the body, and the body is receiving the benefits of each of those colors. We're up here. But the brain, the cones in the eyes, take those two colors and they average that, and they send a third color to the brain. So now your body is processing three colors. So you get a 1-2 punch that way. People in the past have said, oh, we've had polychromatic light forever because they've had red and infrared together. Okay, kind of, that's a combination of colors, but it doesn't create that third color. And that's where we are different. We say that it's the third color that's created with the eyes, sending that to the brain, that makes it true polychromatic colors. And we've got an incredible blog about how does the brain see and process colors. So this might be a link to write down. This is actually a great screen to do a screenshot of, because when we start talking about the different colors, the key to understanding how to use the lights is really understanding the colors. If I want to excite my cells, I'm going to use red. If I want to soothe my cells, I'm going to use blue. So if you understand how the colors work, you can start applying them for different applications. Okay, so the neat thing about this is there's not just one way to do it. You can't, it's not just, oh, red all the time. In fact, 5 or 6 years ago, when we really started working with green, I came out and said green is the new red, because the green is phenomenal. When I start thinking about green, and I start yawning. But we use green a lot to put ourselves into a parasympathetic state. And we do that by just simply placing, I'm going to start yawning already. It takes me no time at all to become parasympathetic. And we want to be doing this a lot, because our world is in a fight and flight mode, and we can't heal when we're in fight and flight. We have to go into parasympathetic, which is our rest and digest state. Okay, so it's no real coincidence that these colors and the chakra colors also work together. When I'm using my green light, I put it on my heart chakra, the solar plexus on our belly button. That's phenomenal. We can use the white light on our crown. Very, very much, they go together very well, applying the light onto our different chakra points. But we also can apply them on acupressure points. We can put them directly where the pain or injury is, or we can put them on the opposite arm. This arm's in a cast and it's all banged up. Put it on this arm. You can even do it remotely. I just had a conversation today with a lady who's been sending light healing remotely to the people on the other end. I know that you can do that with energy. I just never really thought about doing it with the lights. I think it's just phenomenal. So there's just no end to what you can do when you start exploring the light therapy and the different colors. This is a great, how do I want to say it, thing to take a screenshot of and keep as a reference. So we use all of these colors.
This is lovable because also you can see what, like a migraine, and what kind of problems a person would use and with which color. And I think it's fascinating that our chakra system has these colors, and it's really about the frequency. I was just talking another day about the chakra system also, and seeing through the lens of hertz and how you see those lights, because that is in the spectrum of light that we can see. And it's so amazing that you brought this now with the chakra system and the Visum light, because there is a correspondence of what shifts in the body according to the frequency. Yeah, that's how I
So
see. Yeah.
this is red and blue together. Do you see the magenta? You can see it like kind of on my thumb. This is red and green together. That creates a yellow. My sister's like, well, that should be brown. Well, I'm sorry, it's yellow. I don't know what to tell you. It's yellow. And then my favorite, which is blue and green, and that's the turquoise color. Turquoise is phenomenal to use also for our parasympathetic. You know, when my brain starts processing turquoise, I'm immediately sitting on a sandy beach somewhere with the waves and the blue sky, and I'm just like on a vacation. I mean, myself can go there with that.
Yeah,
And so,
I'm just reading here emotional stress, so it reduce the emotional stress, and this is something very important, and I think especially for people who have autoimmune disease, because we can easily be so stressed out, and the stress can take into having a flare up of symptoms because of the sympathetic nervous system, as you were mentioning. And today, with the way the speed of the society and everything, faster we go into parasympathetic nervous system, the best for us, the best for our health, mental health, physical, emotional health. Yes.
right. And so, the go-to for that is your third eye and then your heart. And there's so many great places. I mean, it's a tool that the hardest thing I had with this and my biggest challenge was coming up with protocols, because there isn't one way to do any of it. There's a way, but I didn't want to lock people into thinking that this was going to be, oh, she said you have to do this on here. Oh, and that's what the only, and no, I want you thinking outside of the box. Put it there. Try this. The bottom of your feet is a great place to put light. Your belly button is an incredibly good place to put light.
Yeah, very important points.
And if you got nerve damage, you want to be working on both ends of that nerve. So you want to follow the dermatomes into your back and find out where off the spine those nerves are coming from. So there's a lot that goes on here. And that's just using this. But when we start combining this with sound, now you have what we call comprehensive healing. And I mentioned that term earlier.
Yes, yes.
For me,
Yeah.
comprehensive healing means that we're going to combine color and sound and apply it to the body. So the Visum light relies on the Nogier frequencies. We have them individually, or we have them in our pre-programmed patterns. So this little chart here on the left is my little go-to. I've got that over here on my desk, and whenever I'm trying to decide if I want to pick one frequency, say I want to open my lymph, I'm going to go do frequency D. I'm going to put red and infrared frequency D, and I'm going to start working on my lymphatic pockets. So it's as simple as that. So like I said, the Nogier frequencies are the frequencies we were born with in our cellular structures, but over time we've done things to impede that. Whether it's what we're eating, drinking, how an accident, a disease, whatever it is, we want those cells to resonate back to where they were. And that's what the idea is with the Nogier frequencies, is we bring them back to their natural state. Some other frequencies that we don't use but are phenomenal, the Solfeggio frequencies, those are the ones that the Buddhists, the monks and stuff will chant. I've got a chime right here that has a wind on it that is normally doing this all day, all night. I sleep so good. I sleep in the room above this, and I don't even hear them, but my body can feel that. Okay. The Fibonacci is found in nature a lot. If you start looking, you'll see this pattern, this spiral pattern. You'll see it in pine cones. You'll see it in shells. You'll see it in different patterns out there in nature. And then Rife is a machine that has a lot of frequencies in it, and that's the man that invented that machine. And then the Schumann resonance, that's the resonance of our Earth. It's under 8 hertz. It's in the 7.6, 7.8 range. It usually doesn't vary. A couple weeks ago, we had a big old whoop whoop in it. I don't know what that was all about, but this is why it's so good to take your shoes off, go and stick them in the dirt. Stick your feet in the dirt, stick your shoe, go barefoot for a while, walk in the sand, resonate with that resonance. And so when you add the sound with the color, then you have what we call comprehensive healing. Okay. So real quick, I want to share a couple of stories. I'm not going to read this to you. You're welcome to take a screenshot and come back to it. But this is a vet that has been using our lights for a while. Her friend has rheumatoid arthritis. I think a lot of you can relate to that. And the lights were phenomenally helpful to her. My
Yeah,
friend
it's
broke his
it's very
ribs.
good to know other people and stories and how they have been using and the benefit. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah,
I
please.
mean, my friend broke his ribs. And if you've ever had a broken rib, you know how painful that can be. Well, wasn't able to really do anything. So I got him a light, and this is his story. We have physicians that are using it in the clinic. We talked about the Nogier frequencies, and this lady was using frequency D. She put it on her upper belly, which would be right below her sternum. She said it really, really calmed her. So it's like, well, how do you know all these things? Well, we have advanced training. We help you with this. We have charts. We have a user group. We want to help you. We do a 30-minute consultation with you. And if you get a light, and then we've got the training and we've got the user group. And so we're really here to help you. And this story on the left, that's mine. That's my wrist. That's it today. You can't even see where that scar is. And I've had
Ah,
2 surgeries
amazing.
on that wrist. First to put all the plates and screws in, and then to take it all back out again once everything healed in place. So I use my blue light a lot. As you can see, when I still had stitches, blue is anti-inflammatory. It's like blue has a couple of great properties. First, it's antibacterial and antifungal. So it's my Neosporin, which under those bandages, I was able to do any type of sterilization of that wound. It also is very soothing. So I say it's like ice in a light. Anytime you think I need to put ice on something, grab that blue light. Much more convenient than packing around water and frozen ice and things
Yeah,
that drip,
much easier. Yeah, definitely.
right?
And I'm sure it goes much more profound than the ice also. Besides that, it's antibacterial. Yeah, it's much profound, I'm sure.
And the one thing that I really want to mention here is, and I should have said it way earlier, is we can't forget about our pets. I would imagine that everybody on this call has a pet. I've got enough for a lot of people, right? Well, they benefit from the lights as well. In fact, Sherry, the lady that gave me this testimonial about her little dog, he's a dock diving dog, got swimmer's tail where it freezes up, and I can't imagine that's kind of like when my wrist froze up after I changed out 100 sprinkler heads one day. The lights got him right back within no time, and he went on to become reserve champion. So she was thrilled with all of that. And our pets, like I said, it was my pets that got me into this. They told me this works.
Exactly. I think they were, in fact, they are more connected, to their own nature, as I see, and they are much more sensitive many times. And you see how they can see, feel, smell things that we can't, and they are much more sensitive than we are. Yeah.
A cat is very grounding. If you can have a cat in your lap, that's one of the best things you can do. And I've heard that a cat's purr can actually heal broken bones. So there's so much that they bring into our lives besides just joy and love, right? But with that, I mean, how do you figure it out? How do you sort it out, right? There's so many tools out there. You go 20 some years ago and you typed in red light therapy, and boy, you just didn't find anything, and now you just get inundated, right? So how do you pick? How do you know, what is the right device to get? Well, we've come up with some suggestions for you. You know, does your device have multiple functionalities, or are you kind of stuck with something single and singular? And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what the all lights are. They are one color, on and off. They got 3 power settings, acupoints, muscle release. Okay. But you have to use the different colors, the different lights to have different colors. So are you able to change the colors and combine them to make polychromatic colors? Is there a timer so you can control the duration of the session? Sometimes you don't have that option. Does the device offer sound frequencies, which is commonly mentioned as pulsing? So you'll see, oh, it has a pulsing feature. Okay, great. They're not necessarily going to tell you what it's pulsing at. It's just an on and an off, but pulsing is a way that we offer the sound. So the next one would be, can you control dosing? This particular light allows you to change the output and the time to determine the joules, which is really an important thing for the doctors that are using this, so they can document how many joules they're delivering to somebody, okay? And nobody knows how many joules you need, but they can at least start documenting it and saying, well, last time you were here, we gave you 5 joules over 5 minutes. How did you feel? Today, we're going to do 10 joules over 5 minutes, or we're going to do 10 joules over 2 minutes. There's many different ways to apply the light. And that is one of the biggest challenges in the industry we have. Is the manufacturer transparent with the testing of the power output, and do they post the results? Or do they overstate the power, thinking that most people believe that more is better? Think about that for just a second. We have been so ingrained that more is better, that we're grabbing things that we don't necessarily realize. There are some lights that will deliver 20 joules of energy in 2 minutes. It's like drinking out of a fire hydrant. If you go to water your garden with the fire hose, what's going to happen? Or would you rather use a drip line?
Yeah. In
That's
fact, in the healing arts, less is more many times, many times,
exactly.
because also the body needs to adjust and the body needs to change. And if you have a constriction, you have a pain, you have autoimmune disease, you have a chronic condition, you cannot just go, boom, disappear all of it. It has to be gradually shifting, and the body shifts accordingly. So less is more most of the time in healing modalities.
Exactly. And that is the challenge that we have with the general population, not understanding that so much. They think, oh, if I can get it done in 40 seconds, that's what I want to do. No, your body can't take it in. And then they do too much, and now your body's trying to release too much at one time, and then you become toxic. And because there's just so much trying to go. Do you want to go low and slow? We preach low and slow all the time. And we take our tool and we have it tested at a third-party lab, and we post those test results. They put them in a big sphere. They measure all the light that comes out. They don't put some little thing over one little part of the light and say, oh, here's how much comes out, and they're missing everything. So we post those. We use the same lab for all of our testing. So all of our testing is consistent. But the challenge then is there's very, very few of us as manufacturers that will do that. You'll never find that information on Amazon, and that's where most people tend to go, right? They're going to go, well, I can find something way cheaper on Amazon. Well, yeah, and that's exactly what it is, way cheaper. And you don't know what the power is. You don't know what the customer support's going to be. There's just a lot of things about that you want to take a step back from and think about that. Is that company going to be here tomorrow to help me? Well, if you bought a $25 cheap light off of Amazon, maybe you don't care. But if you're making an investment in your health, which is what we're suggesting that you're doing here, you want to know that company is there to support you. Okay. Does the unit have a warranty? Can you extend that warranty? And is there a trial time to try the light out, or is once you buy it, that's all that's it, And then the last thing that I think that should be in this is the price. I mean, price is absolutely a factor, but it should not be up at the top. So that's a lot of information. And I
That's
don't
a
expect,
lot of information.
I don't expect it all to be absorbed.
Yeah, yeah.
Screenshot this page. Stay in touch with us. We've put together this page just for autoimmune disease, but our website is full of information. We've got a great blog section, under our What's New. And we have great topics in there that we take a deep dive into. We also have a very extensive FAQ section. So we want you to be educated. We are leading the way. It's a patent pending light because we are leading the way in an area that nobody has really thought about, the things that we are thinking about doing here with our lights. And we're getting such phenomenal results with that. So we want to make sure that you have a way to stay in touch with us. And we'd love to have you following us on our social media. So by all means, come and find us. Remember in the beginning, I said, if you stick with us to the end, I've got a surprise for you. I've got a special gift for you. And I want to offer you an extra $200 off our lights and a free AccuHood, so you can use the light for both direct and indirect healing. But this offer is going to expire on the 15th of November of this year. So by all means, we want you to take advantage of that. And that comes with the 30-minute consultation as well, and everything else that we talked about. So go to this link, write this down.
And we have the link here in the page below also, which they can just click. I was going to mention also that is the 3 charts to download as well, right?
Yes.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful.
Yes, and that's on the gift for you. Now, that is the end of what I have to share, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. But if there's any additional questions, Roberta, that you may have that I didn't answer, by all means.
Yeah, I was just like wondering, but I think we cover more or less, because you said a lot of training and questions about the person applying the light and how they would know how much to apply. But I think in my intuition and as a healer and a working practitioner of many modalities, and I do believe less is more, I would begin probably with the lowest and increase as according to I feel the result. I wonder if you can comment on that a little bit.
But we have set this light up. I really discourage people from changing the intensity unless they are a medical doctor or physician and they're are trying to find that little sweet spot and they're documenting it. You can't manage something if you're not documenting it. For us, all the rest, the only time you can increase that is if you are doing it on a continuous mode, none of the frequencies. All our frequencies, all of our patterns are set to come out on our lowest setting and can't be changed.
Oh, wonderful. That's all good. I'm glad I asked.
Yes, in fact, the next version of this will probably not have that intensity option, because people think, oh, I got to crank it up. I'm going to put all these colors on and my battery ran out. Mm. Well, it's not intended to take that kind of, drive. That heat is going to build up for something like that. So it's super easy to use. It defaults to a 10-minute session, so you can, put it in one place for 10 minutes. We use LEDs, and the beauty of an LED is you can't hurt yourself. You don't need goggles. You don't need to worry about, oh, I put it on for too long and now I have a hole in my skin because it burned right through. You don't have to worry about children. It's safe for everybody. It's safe for animals. They know, they come to it. And so it's the nice part of an LED is that the FDA has said they're safe.
And that's great. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sharon. And I have here the link for your pages and social media. And also don't forget to click the button below for the free gift where you can download, and also to get more information and to know more and connect with Sharon. So now, before we end our session, I always like to ask, like, if you have a word or some advice or something you want to tell a person who is suffering with an autoimmune condition.
There's hope. There are answers. They might not necessarily be where you've been looking, but you have to take one at a time. So your body's like an onion, and you're gonna get there, and you're gonna let a layer go, and you're gonna get into the next layer, you're gonna let the layer go. You can't tackle it all at the same time. You have to pick, what's the most important. Putting yourself in parasympathetic, getting your lymph to move, and then address one of your issues. And let it go for the day. And then see how you feel the next day. You are your best doctor when it comes to this, and that's the beauty of this is you can't do it wrong.
Wow,
You really can't. You can overdo it because you decided you're not going to just go slow. But all you're going to do at that point is you just don't feel good. You get tired. You feel like you do when you've done anything too much. So
and also, this is very good advice, and I think very important for people to do one thing at a time. And nowadays, is we are bombarded with everything like coming all at once, and I think this is a wonderful advice. I really appreciate very much your session here with us, Cheryl, and sharing this, which I think is really new information for me, and I think it's new information for others and for the participants of the summit. So I really appreciate your time and wisdom here teaching us about this. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you for joining us today, and remember to tune back to the real story of autoimmune disease. Thank you.